Hello guys, welcome back to another Boom Beach video. In this episode, or in this video, I'm going to be explaining something that's been on my mind for quite a long time here, guys. So today, I'm going to be talking about task forces, what they are, how you join, cons, pros, stuff you do in task forces, stuff you don't want to do or you'll get kicked, and a bunch of stuff like that. So let's get started. Okay, so you unlock the task force at, well first, a task force is kind of like a clan. You get together with your clan mates, and you basically gain intel together. And I'm going to be going over intel later. You could attack, you could chat. It's basically like your own little group of buddies, okay? You'll unlock a task force at HQ6, guys. You'll unlock task forces, and when you unlock them, you'll get this menu. You're gonna get a create button instead of a my task force button as soon as you unlock them. Now guys, you can create your own task force, but I don't recommend creating your own task force just because task forces are so hard to get members into your task force. It's kind of hard to get enough people into it, especially if you're low level. Now if you're like a maxed out player, I think you're gonna be good, but if you're not, it's gonna be very hard. We're having a hard time getting one more spot, and I'm a YouTuber, so it's a lot easier to get people. So unless you have a group of buddies like in real life that are gonna join, or you have friends that are gonna join, it's kind of hard to create your own task force in Boom Beach until they add like maybe a public chat where other people could join and you could recruit people, because the only way to find a task force is going into this find thing and looking up people. So when you go into this find thing, you're gonna get a bunch of these little icons here. Now you're gonna get friends, so all your friends are gonna be here, and you're gonna have this thing that says your friends in this task force. And that's very neat how that works. And then you're also gonna have this some members in the same country. So I recommend joining one that you're in the same country, because then they'll speak the same language as you. These have the same language settings, so that would also work for you. So like if I wanted to join one of these, I would just click on the name and then I would join. Now there's a couple settings. I'm gonna go back to my task force so it's easy to see. You want to follow the description. So if it says level 50 and up and you're level 40, even if you meet the entry requirement medal count, they're probably gonna kick you when you join, unless they actually need members like a lot. So I recommend looking at that, making sure you have a correct level, making sure you fit all the requirements in the description. Next, there's a few types. So there's closed task force. That means you cannot join the task force. It means it's closed off, nobody else could join, and only the leader can change this setting. So there's the closed task force, and anyone could join, so you just hit join and then you'll instantly join. And then there is join by request, and that's basically you're gonna send a request into the task force, and it's basically just gonna look like, let me scroll down this chat to find. It's basically just gonna look like this, and it's gonna come up like this, and you're gonna type in a message, so type in something maybe like I'm very active and stuff, and then the leader or officer is gonna reject it or accept you, and if he accepts you, you're gonna join the task force. So we actually denied this guy because he was a pretty low level and not very active. Next, officials and leaders, they want you to get intel. And, well, actually, I'm not done with this yet. Okay, guys, next, there's a thing called entry requirement. That's the number of medals you need to join the task force. So if I click over here, I can change this so people over than 400 medals, if they're not over 400, they can't join. Even if this is joined by, even if this is, anyone could join. If it's over this amount of medals, if you're under this amount of medals, you can't join. So I could bump it all the way up to 1,200. Is that the most? Yes, 1,200. Also, none means you don't need any. Okay, so if I look over at my medals, I have 708. So I could join a task force that has an entry requirement of 700 or lower. So that's something to note. Also, you can't always join the task force you want to join, so maybe you're gonna have to push a little in order to get that. Okay, so next, let's go into our next point. Intel is a big part of task forces. Now, if you look underneath the medal count of everybody in my task force, you're gonna see intel. So I have 42 intel collected. Growth has 22, and so on. I'm going to be explaining how you get intel also. Intel is, the count resets weekly. For me, I live in the US, it resets every Saturday at 7 o'clock, because I am Central Time. That doesn't matter too much, although some people are going to have requirements like get 30 intel per week, or you're gone, or something like that. Or maybe, I'm gonna get into officers and positions later. Maybe they're gonna promote you to an officer if you get 30 intel per week. That's all in the clan description, or you just ask the guy. So intel, NPCs, so there's a few ways you could get intel. First of all, Hammerman's HQ, you have a 50% chance of getting intel, or maybe it's 25, I think it's 50 though. Dr. Terror is a 25% chance, he's not up right now. Player bases are a 50% chance, so like this guy would be a 50% chance, and NPCs are 25% chance. You cannot get intel from attacking resource bases or operation bases. I'm going to be going over operations in a second, guys. So that's the only ways you could get intel. So you need to be very active. So let's look at my intel. So I have 42 intel. That may translate to around 125 attacks. And that's actually a lot when I think about how much times I attack. Now, if you look into the top scores, these guys are the top task forces. So you could view the top task force for 25 people, 50 people, 5 people, or 10 people. These guys are all very, very active, and it takes a lot of hard work to get here. So if I view this one guy, you're going to see this guy has about 187 intel. Now, let me see. This is Thursday, so that means that's 5 days into the week. 5 days into the week, and this guy has almost 200 intel. So that's about 500 attacks this one guy did from the top. And that's a lot of attacks in 5 days. So that's like 100 attacks a day, guys, and that is crazy because they gym up and then they attack. They clear the whole map each day. It's just crazy. But you probably don't have to be that active, or you probably can't be that active. Okay, let's go on to leader positions now. So there's 3 different types of positions into a task force. There's the officers, the members, and the leaders. The leader is the one who creates the task force. I could also pass a leadership on to another officer. Okay, I demote officers, I promote officers. Officers are better than members. Members are the least. Officers are next, leader is the top. There's only one leader. There could be as many as you want officers. Officers could kick, accept, reject, start operations, all that stuff. They cannot edit the clan description or raise the member count, which I'm going to get into in a second here. Let's see. So you want to promote people who are good in your task force. If you're the leader, you want to promote people that you trust, because officers could kick your members. They could kick only, there's a cooldown, a half-an-hour cooldown, so they can't go and join your task force and kick everyone. Now, leaders could kick everyone, so make sure your leader of your task force is very self-controlling, because you don't want him being a bad leader. Okay, next we're going to be going over the members. So you start out with a task force of 5 members, okay? 5 members max. So once you get those 5 members, nothing happens. You can't get any more. You can't get any more, basically. And then you could raise your member count. So this is what it looks like when I want to raise my member count. So it goes 5, 10, 25, 50. If I raise my member count, my member limit, it'll affect the reward from operations. So it's going to be split up not between 10 people, but now between 25 people. So we're going to be getting less, but in return, we need to do more harder operations because we have 25 people. You cannot lower your member count. That's huge. So if I have a 50-player task force, I cannot lower that count no matter what. And Earth is actually number 1 here. So they cannot lower their 50 members, even if they kicked them all out to 25. That's kind of a big deal that a lot of people don't quite get. So I definitely think that's a good idea to tell you guys about that. Now let's go over force points and operations. So you might be wondering, what do you use your intel for? So this is what you use your intel for. Leaders and officers, like I said, could start operations. This is what the operation map looks like. It's this huge map here, pretty huge, very huge actually. There's like 25 operations, probably more like 50, I don't know quite. Each operation goes from easy to hard. Easy operations are down here, hard operations are way down here. Now, each task force has a limit. So five members might have a limit of intel about 250, so they can't get any more intel than 250. Our task force may have an intel limit of 400. Now, I don't know about 25, but 50 people have an intel limit of 1,000, so they can't get any more intel than that, even if their members collected. And usually they'll max out that intel a lot, very, very fast. So basically, guys, each of these bases, you'll see each of these bases are hard. You need to communicate with your task force and talk about which base you want to attack. This is kind of confusing when you first learn how to do it, but you learn about it more and more as you go. So each operation lasts for 24 hours. Each member in your task force only has one attack they can do. They'll hit this attack button, and there'll be an attack button here, and I'll go over notes in a second. They'll hit an attack button, and they'll use their one attack to attack. Now, these bases are very hard. See this, guys? This is level 73 here. And it's not something that one person could just take on. And you need to communicate with your task force. This is actually one of our easy operations, and I'll tell you more about that later. This is our easy operation. So that means, well, I'll just tell you about it now. So each week, we do hard operations and easy operations. This does not apply to all task forces, this is just us. So we found that we don't get enough intel to do a new hard operation each day. So what we do is we do a hard operation every Dr. Tear day. So we do 2 hard operations per a week, and then we do the rest of them easy. And the easy operations are very easy. This is actually kind of a hard one, just because we couldn't get enough intel to do another hard operation. Sabotages. Sabotages only the leaders and officers could use. So I just hit the sabotage button. I'm not going to do it now. It's going to take down one defense. You cannot pick which defense you want to take down. So it might take down this boom cannon, and it might take down this useless sniper tower that ain't doing nothing up here. So you don't know. It's kind of, if you're going to max out your intel, it's a good idea to use this, because then you won't max out, and it's going to help you a little. But otherwise, I don't recommend using it. And the cost of it goes up and up after each time you use it. Force points is how they rank you on the leaderboard. Force points, up here, it says 190 out of 265 force points. So that's how much force points we got for this battle. And if, let's say it ends right now, we're going to beat the base, but we get 190. So we're going to go over here, and it's going to add 190 force points to our clan description, and we're gonna be leaderboard. We're gonna be placed on the leaderboard. So these top guys have 8,000 or something. So we're gonna go up 190 force points. So that's gonna give us like a boost here. And we're gonna probably shoot up to like 3,000 ranked. Not a big deal if you are like a fun clan where you're not like trying to push for the leaderboard. We're not pushing for the leaderboard yet, but eventually we might try to. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention is the task force tag. Every task force has a certain tag you can share with your friends. So if I type in this tag into the find, and be sure to put the hashtag in front of it, that's gonna it's gonna come up our clan. So I don't know my tag here, but some tags are very easy. So if I type in, this is a tag I know, this clan was on the leaderboard, VVUV, and I wish we had that, because that's an awesome one. VVUV, very easy to remember, and these guys are on the leaderboard. So that base comes up. So only each clan tag, each task force tag is very certain to that task force. You can't change it, you can't get a new one. It's just stuck with you forever. Okay, guys, I think I covered everything in task forces, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like. Remember, there's a tutorial playlist down in the description down below. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. If I missed anything, be sure to tell me in the comments down below, and I might do an updated version eventually. See you guys next time. Bye.